Welcome to another portrait sketch in oil colors. This is the 11th addition to this series. As usual, I'm applying a little bit of odorless mineral spirits to a 9 by 12 inch cotton canvas panel that was toned ahead of time, a neutral gray acrylic, approximately number 5 on the value scale. I just want a little bit of mineral spirits on here. Not a lot, just a little bit, so that when I start to draw, the option to erase will be something I have. Alright, so I'm adding a little bit of black and red to make a brown. That is going to be my drawing color. This is going to be the same technique as all the other ones. Last time I just decided to experiment with a little bit more of a careful drawing at first, which was kind of not what I wanted to do. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and draw kind of like I'm used to drawing, with the brush first rather than adding color on here. So top of the head, bottom of the head. I've already decided that I will fit in the drapery that the model is wearing. So I'm conscientious of where the edges are going to fit. So like right there. I've already planned out my vignette for this. So some of the drapery will fit to about here. And that'll be it. Hey Michael MC, welcome. Hey Dita Art, what's going on everybody? Alright, so let's say the center line somewhere over here. So the face is in 3/4 relative to us, though it appears that we're looking up at the model, which is why we see some of the bottom of the chin over here. Remember, these are very improv portrait sketches. Notice this has the same title as the previous 11 live streams, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Alright, so tear ducts, I'm going to say, will land here and here. Bottom of the nose will be over here. Mouth over here. Bottom of the mouth. Eyes. Our eyes are closed, so it's kind of a meditative thing we're trying to capture. That's kind of straight. I posted the reference this time, actually, along with the link to this stream on my Patreon. I posted it as a free post, so you don't have to sign up for any of the classes if you don't want to. You can paint along with this. A Starlight 9 by 12 inch. This is a 9 by 12. I like this reference because the shadows are really clear, which is why I'm blocking them in right now. So occasionally with these streams we'll experiment with a different approach, but this is the standard method. Just go in with drawing color. This is why I add the mineral spirits, so that with a dry brush I have the option to erase like this. That's why we start with the mineral spirits first. But you don't have to do that. You could draw directly on it if you want to. Yep, no problem. This is just ivory black and cadmium red. I like that for a drawing color more than what I used to use, which was just raw umber. I like it because the cadmium red gives it a little bit more thickness to this drawing color. And when you're drawing on a neutral gray, it just kind of helps when there's a little bit more thickness to your lines. Let's point out where the nostrils are going to fit. Somewhere over here. Mouth, make sure it fits the center line. Top of the mouth is over there. Corners of the mouth over there. Okay, so as for the vignette, we're going to have this much of the drapery showing. And of course, we're seeing a little bit of the bottom of her chin. So probably like right about there. Okay, so approximately right about there. To thin the paint, I just use a drop of spike lavender. Not a lot, just a drop. Okay, so there is our vignette. Now to follow standard procedure of things, I'm gonna go ahead and mix a skin color that I'll use to paint form onto. Remember, these are just sketches. Though I do start my long poses or long-term portrait paintings pretty much the same. It's just I work many different days on the same painting. Okay, so that might be maybe a tad bit too warm. Let's cool that down. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty good. So we're just gonna follow the standard procedure here, just block in the lights. Now, I did mention yesterday that the most recent canvases that I toned, I made a little bit too light. This is a little light. So you're seeing some of the tone kind of show through. So good thing I'm actually using lead white, so I'm going to apply a little less pressure. And this is a property of lead. It's kind of transparent. It's a transparent white. So a little less pressure makes it a little lighter. As for the standard procedure, I'm going to go ahead and punch the light and shadow, meaning I'm going to add more contrast is what I'm saying. So just kind of a brownish color right now. Again, the emphasis is on light and shadow. Like I said, adding contrast. That's what I'm doing. We're slightly looking up. Alright, so as the standard procedure, I'm going to go ahead and start painting planes. But this light and shadow stage will be the main idea throughout the entire duration of this sketch. And like I said, because the background is a little too light, I'm going to, before I go into too many planes, I'm going to paint that in. And I'm going to use one of my cheap brushes. It's a kind of like a light blue. So I'm using white, cobalt blue. The white I'm using, I have two whites on my palette. I have a lead white, which is just from Michael Harding lead white primer, and I have alkyd white. So just white and alkyd white and cobalt blue is what this is. Mark L. I'm not gonna put any of it over here because that's where I'm gonna rest my pinky. So like right there is gonna be where I want to park my pinky. So just white and cobalt blue. Hey Angus, what's going on everybody? The 11th edition to this. The thumbnail is a little different because I messed up. I accidentally changed the, or my mistake was I forgot to change one of the settings on my stream because I changed some thumbnails. As someone suggested, use the picture of the finished sketch, and I forgot to change that setting. So yeah, that's why that happens. If I can remember, I will change this thumbnail too when the video is over to the finished painting. Unless I bomb it. Like if I mess it up, then I won't change the picture because I messed it up. Okie dokie. Now we'll go punch the light and get into some modeling here. I'm going to use, of course, the lead white for this. And I shall demonstrate the properties of lead white. See how transparent it is? I can blend it. So once again, if anybody wants to paint along with this, I posted the reference along with the link to this on my Patreon for free. It's a free post, so you don't have to pay for any classes or anything if you don't want to. It's free for everybody. Punching up the light, that's what we're doing here. Wonderful property of lead white. It's kind of transparent. In all transparency, I'm using this lead white primer because I don't want to buy another titanium white, a regular titanium white, if I don't have to. Yeah, there are always going to be challenges, Angus. Definitely, there's always going to be challenges. Now trust me, just because the eyes are closed doesn't mean it's a closed case. This when the eyes are closed, there's almost always going to be something challenging. Hey, Suzanne. Alright, so this is the distance for the filter, and we got that fairly close. So that's how we began the planes, just like this. And now before too long, I'm going to add something to the drapery. Oh, thanks, Angus. Kind of, yeah, a little bit more classical. You know, just kind of out of a wild guess, I started using the transparency of the lead for this, and it kind of helps. So yeah, kind of like an underpainting is what this is right now. Kind of like an underpainting. My motivation for this reference in general, or I guess the references that I have been choosing these days, is I like the idea of painting everyone that I can. Of course, most of the models are female, just because, like, statistically it's more likely to sell, but I'm kind of trying to paint a little bit of everything, portrait wise, that is. Oh, look at that, the lead white doing its thing. Once again, you can do this with titanium as well. You just use a little less of it. Alright, so like I said, I'm gonna paint some of the drapery. Gonna use magenta with white and maybe a little bit of sap green. This is the titanium white. Just test it out. If this looks good, then I'll mix a bunch of it. It's okay. It's okay. Alright, so magenta, titanium white, which is an alkyd, titanium white. Alkyd because that's all I got. And sap green. No, I'm trying to go for realism. Yeah, I'll try to correct the lips later when I get to the small shapes. But To be honest, I'm not really like that focused on the likeness as much. I was before with the first couple videos, but yeah, I'm not as concerned with likeness. But I will do the best I can, though. It helps that I changed my camera angle a little bit. Not a lot, but just enough that I could lower this setup. So it's not as tough for me to see. Alright, so let me get straight to the lips now for the modeling. And of course I do see that they're wide, so that's the first thing I'm going to look at. They are wide, so let's do something about that. And they are too thick. Going in with the lid. Yeah, I mixed magenta, titanium white, and sap green for this color. And you know, I might actually kind of work with this. Lift this up. Oof. Maybe not. But let's lift this. Yeah, because the lips were too big before. Yeah, no problem. Let's go in with red, cadmium red, and lead white. I like cadmium red light, which leans towards the orange. Hey Angus. You said, let's see, missed any description of the paints used. Opaque titanium white, transparent lead white. Yeah, I don't actually combine them like in terms of, let's add some alizarin. I don't combine them in terms of like mix them together with a palette knife. I just have them separately placed, like here's the lead, and then there's the titanium. The titanium that I have, I'm not using as much for the face because it's an alkyd titanium. And that's just because that's all I have. I didn't buy any more titanium. I don't want to buy it if I don't have to. Alright, so adjusting the mouth, making sure it's not too wide. Of course, we are looking up, so we're going to see more of the upper lip. I think this plane for the upper lip. For my regular paints, I will just put them off to the side of my palette. And just kind of leave them there. The alkyds I just leave in place. So sometimes I will take the paints off, put them in a plastic container, and throw them in the freezer, but that doesn't help me so much because I paint every day. So it's kind of a nuisance for me to go and take them out of the fridge and wait for them to thaw, which doesn't actually take that long. But I usually just leave them on the palette. So for example, these are regular paints. Like this alizarin is a regular alizarin, so just linseed oil. It's not an alkyd. If when I'm done painting today, if I have any left, which I probably will, I'll just put them in a plastic container, put them in the freezer, because it's a little too much for me to put over here. But this is where I usually put the regular ones. It's not the best practice to do. Best practice is to just put them in a container, airtight container. All right, now let's go in with the nostril. Now that the mouth is not as wide. Angus, you said the masters would often have greens in their underpaintings. Yeah, I think some people do use a greenish underpainting these days, but I'm kind of isolated when it comes to other artists, so I don't really know someone that does that personally. I don't know of anyone. For my commissions, I start just like this, and then as the paints dry, I redraw on them with chalk or pastel. My goal with my commissions is to create a really nice surface quality, so I almost always use a wooden panel for commissions. But I personally don't use a Verdaccio. Yeah, everyday painting. I have not had a day off in, I don't know, like 2 months or something like that. Ever since I quit pool, I played pool for a little while, like 8 ball and 9 ball, just to kind of like balance myself out. I was a member of a billiard academy, but I quit because I needed to spend more time painting. You'll see on my Instagram some of the. I like some more comedy in my studio works. So I painted Art the Clown as a painter in one of my ongoing studio paintings. Hey, Jonas. I'm just gonna put a line for the edge of the nose. Side plane here. So like I said, this method has built-in corrections. So whenever I have to change anything, like I'll probably move the eyes down. It's really easy to do. Concavity of the eye socket here. And let's commence operation move the eyes relative to the nose and mouth. I like to pinpoint the perspective with the nose these days. So let's just add a little bit more for this nose. And I'll go in with the plane for the lower eyelid. Paint that plane in there. I'm completely not worried about the eyes. So there's the plane for the lower eyelid. So remember, this approach has a built-in autocorrect. Go in with the pinkish color right on the nose here. I want to build the bulb of the nose a little bit. Hey, Gigi. No worries, we're gonna be here for a while. I made sure to get here right on, right at 3 because yesterday it was just too much to do. That's why I didn't post that one to Instagram. I don't think I did as much as I wanted. But who knows, I'll probably post it. I wanted to post the studio painting in progress. Alright, so now we got the nose, the light for the nose here. Now obviously I know that this is too dark, but that's because I like putting light into the dark. Adita, yeah, tiny, we started off loose and now kind of, yeah, it looks like a tiny pencil. We're going in with the realism. Like I said, I'm not worried about the eyes. I know that they need to move to about probably here. Yeah, about right there. Not worried about that at all. I'll adjust it. Not worried at all. Oh, thanks, Markel. I just, I don't know. Sometimes I don't really have a explanation for why I don't like something, but yeah, yesterday's was. I think the face part is okay, but I don't know if I don't know. I don't know if I like the overall big picture. I'm glad you like the loose painting. Let's just call it done. Let's sell it. Let's sell it and call it a day. Oh, wouldn't that be the dream? I am going to be selling these. Actually, I already am on the website. The first couple of these are for sale. I thought about painting some still life, like changing this to still life and landscape and try to sell that. But I might just do those off camera. I like the challenge that these present. Alright, let's get real specific here with the light and shadow. I like the challenge of the live stream portrait. 2 hours. One of these days I'll figure it out. And the lead that's on there is so useful for this. Alright, cheekbone right there. Specificity of a line drawing. That's what we're after. I won't completely ignore the eyes. I'll put some little something something there. Tear duct. Appreciate all the likes, everybody. Put a little something there for the eyes. So the first edition sketches, portrait sketches, the background was that gray color. I think that from now on, something for the background should only take, I don't know, what, like a couple minutes to paint in. I'm talking about that blue. So it just kind of helps with the values. So I think that that's something I'm going to continue to do. Hey Carlos, thanks for watching from Brazil. Yeah, if you haven't checked out my newest Instagram reel, definitely check it out. I painted Art the Clown in my studio painting. And he's holding a palette on one hand and a paintbrush on the other. If you don't know who Art the Clown is, he's a black and white clown from the horror movie Terrifier. It's kind of hilarious. Yeah, I agree, Carlos. Light to dark, dark to light. But it also helps to have a toned canvas. It just makes it a little easier. Angus, if I were to stop now and see it in a few days, I don't know really. I can't know exactly what I would think that I would do differently. Um, one thing one thing that's almost always the case with sketches in particular, the quick poses is you gotta be grateful for what you can do in a short period of time, and try to transition that into your long poses. So there's a certain energy, as I always say. More passion, more energy, more brushwork. There's a certain energy with these, and also technique. But of course, there's always a drawing thing here and there that needs to be adjusted. At first, it used to really bother me. Like, I think maybe the first and second portrait sketch that we did here. But as time went on, I realized I can't just like force things onto myself. So I have to take one thing at a time. Like, for example, yesterday was very, very much about the light and shadow drawing. And then, I don't know, time before that was a profile view. So it's more, the one before that was about composition. And the one before that one, I don't remember anymore. It was too long ago. Oh, thanks, Tita. You know what I want out of these sketches more than anything is consistency. Like with YouTube, I've always struggled with that. With trying to come up with the next big portrait painting tutorial that gets what, like 1 million views or whatever. Like, as a content creator right now, I'm more focused on consistency. And of course, this is a wonderful exercise. These portrait sketches, they're like gestures. Without this series, I would have never thought to use my lead white primer as a color. I've also just gone through so much paint with this, like a lot of paint. That I have. So, any super chats or anyone wanting to buy anything from my website always helps. Yeah, so anyone that wants to buy this, I should probably start doing this. Anyone that wants to buy this sketch um, today, if you Venmo it, never mind. I was gonna put it on sale, but I heard that's not good to do. Never mind. I do really want to start selling them, but I should wait. Angus, you said, do you state the ambition was at the start? I know you've mentioned consistency, but as a series, specific goals can be made and endorsed. No need to apologize for any questions. The ambition of this is just consistency. Obviously, I want to sell every single one of them, but consistency with my uploads. And I do want to get better at these sketches. So that's also kind of a goal. Hey Carlos, yeah, it is kind of difficult to paint in silence. I almost never paint in silence. I always have the TV or music. Usually it's a combination of the two. I can't have music right now because YouTube will give me copyright issues. And I've been told on several occasions that people don't like having music playing during these paintings. Yeah, music and movies. That's how I got the idea to paint the clown from the movie Terrifier, was because I put on Terrifier, and I was like, this clown would fit perfectly in the corner of this studio painting. Before I paint this reflection in the shadow, I will go into this part of the drapery now. Let's see if not straight magenta. Magenta, back to the sap green. No white. So magenta, sap green. Alright, that kind of works. I'll add a little bit of spike lavender, just a drop. drapery, just like anything else. Light and shadow. Now a little bit of red, there will be a color change for this plane. Not that much, but it'll work. I need this because once I paint this shadow, I want it to have some relation color-wise to that. I don't have red iron oxide. I just don't have the color. But I kind of, when I saw this, I immediately thought of magenta and some kind of like a cadmium green or some kind of green. Just because it's like some kind of off, to me it's like an off violet. To be honest, Angus, I didn't really think about the transparency with this. I didn't think about it. If I did, I probably would have done maybe something different, but I didn't think too much of the transparency. I'm more thinking of like how this frames the face. That's kind of more of what I'm thinking about. Alright, so I'm going to go in with that shadow. Now I see that I can punch the warmth in it a little bit, which kind of makes sense. It would be reflecting something from over here. This is another one of those thrift store brushes. Like I said, we were seeing the bottom of the chin in perspective. Alright, so cadmium orange, burnt sienna, some of the skin tone. There's our reflected light. And there's some warmth to the cast shadow on the lower eyelid. We can emphasize that a little. I might even throw in some of the magenta. Yeah, everyone sees color differently. Every screen sees color differently too. It could also just be the screen. Most of the time with photo references, it's the screen or the print. this cast shadow is a little darker and sharper. Now take care, Starlight. Thanks for joining. Oh wait, no, I missed that comment. Angus has to go. Well, thanks for joining. Don't worry, the schedule has kind of been very consistent now. 3 o'clock p.m. on the weekdays. Except for Friday, because I got a student. Haven't done any on Friday, but I've always been kind of hinting at a potential morning painting. That's usually the time that I work on studio paintings, but maybe one of these days. So just business as usual with this one. What helped was the light and shadow start. The fact that it wasn't too extreme. I didn't spend as much time with it. But just enough time. Oh, the lead white. So nice. Yeah, so no pre-mixtures here. I did not do the pre-mixtures this time, and I'm kind of happier I didn't. Alright, so let's go back to the environment. Mixing up a light for this. It's similar to the skin tone, but obviously more red. So that's kind of close. The alkyd will probably be somewhat dry, maybe not too much yet. So I should be able to work on it. Leave some of the gray underneath, because that was the original concept for this vignette. Alright, let's see. Let's find out if this is too dry to work on. Oh, it's okay. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Alright. So as I do this, I'm going to take a note of the light on the face using my lead white and a little bit of, wish I could say genuine Naples yellow, but it's just the alkyd Naples yellow. Oh, this lead white is so nice. I need to have a relation between this and this. So the color relationships and value relationships are important. A little bit of spike lavender. A little something, something for the drapery over here. And the alkyd is latching on perfectly. It's making it a little easier to get the paint to move because there's some resistance now. You would think it'd be the opposite, but no. It's actually helping. And I think I'll throw in some clouds. I think I can do that. Or maybe hint at some clouds. Again, I really like the 2-hour time frame. It's not terribly long, but it's long enough to actually get something done. But it remains kind of action-packed throughout the entire time. It's never a dull moment. Thin the paint out. Alright, so now I'm covering this part. That means no longer can I rest my pinky there. More passion, more energy, more brushwork. That's how it works. We'll just leave the sky like this. Not a cloud in the sky. Perfect weather. No alien spacecraft heading towards us. Something like this. Oh, and the alkyd's acting so nice. It's layering on pretty well. Thanks, Starlight. Of course, we're gonna slightly vignette it on the top. So for composition's sake. A little bit of cobalt blue. So I just made it a tad bit darker down here. So I can have kind of darker here, ray of light over here. Just a little something for the background. We still got 30 minutes. That's crazy. All right, so get back to the face then. Work on our transitions. Yeah, I know. I was just wanted to have somebody comment something. I know it's not an alien spacecraft. I know. I wonder if that Harvard professor is gonna get fired. This is like the second time he did that. So the combination of the alkyd and the lead really helps with these transitions. The paint is a little stiffer, more firm, yet still workable. Oh, thanks, Tita. Oh, I think wasn't it a Harvard professor that said that it was an alien? But he did that another time too. Well, like I said, these are very improv streams. Talk about anything that we can talk about. Of course, we could also talk about painting if you want. Yeah, this alkyd and lead white is the way to go. The paint isn't really shoveling or anything. It's like layering really nicely. No, I didn't notice the paint drying any darker with the alkyd. I didn't notice it. I just have a little more control over these transitions than I usually do. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, Yeah, doing one in alkyd and another in regular, that'd be kind of interesting. The regular one would probably take a lot longer to see how it would differ. It's a good idea. But I kind of use them interchangeably a lot. Like I've got both of them on the palette. So it might be kind of a challenge to isolate them. Also, the alkyd colors are not as bright. They're not as rich, I guess, as the regulars. But the trade-off is you get to have so many more layers with them, so you kind of build that richness anyway. So the only alkyd I have here right now is, actually I have two. Wait, three. Never mind. I've got alkyd white, alkyd Naples yellow, alkyd chrome green, along with my sap green. Oh, you think it dries darker? Oh yeah, a couple of small paintings. Yeah, possible. I didn't notice them dry darker. Huh. Never paid attention to it. Probably should have. But I didn't notice too much of difference with it. Well, thanks for mentioning that. I didn't know. Yeah, and I was thinking of maybe just something super simple like an egg. Then I could see if it really dries darker. I guess it could also depend on mediums and surfaces that you're painting on. So they'd have to be the same exact surface. And I only use spike lavender anyway, so that wouldn't change much in terms of changing the medium. Yeah, keep them the same. It's a good idea. Like for example, an obvious difference would be in the cadmium red. Because from what I've seen, at least at the store, um, the cadmium red is a cadmium red hue. So it's probably a pyrrole red. It's not really a cadmium, which is kind of nice because it makes the paints cheaper. I can actually afford them. Yeah, but things like this, I can actually like layer this on here, and it's not subtracting at all. That's kind of nice. Yeah, color swatches would be the easiest way to test it. For sure. almost there. Final 10 minutes. So with the face, it's not really, I don't know, I'd have to stand like really far back. There's always something. How about that? There's always something. But I don't know, not as concerned about it right now. That's what these short sketches are useful for, is building your instinct, because you don't see everything right away. So a lot of stuff has to be done with instinct, ultra instinct. Well, thanks for joining, Mark. But don't leave just yet, everybody. We still got 10 minutes. But I know it's probably late over there in London. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody that's been watching these streams. I know I haven't changed the title in 11 videos, so those of you that have been sticking along with these, it really shows me that you do like the content. It's definitely been helping me in terms of my abilities to see shapes faster. Even though I would much prefer to be able to paint these from life, these references are good enough. Thankfully, we have copyright-free sources we can use, like Pixabay and Unsplash. Yeah, that's definitely getting late over there. Hopefully you'll get some plein air done this weekend. I'd say the weekend, even though it's Thursday, because I won't be here tomorrow. Unless I do a still life. And it would have to be in the morning. Yeah, learning how to see is definitely, it's the tough part, because we don't always see these things. Doing long poses is good, but I just think there should be a balance. If I wake up on time this Saturday, I'll go paint from life. Hopefully they're starting a new one at my friend Karen's studio. Oh, cool, Mark. Yeah, I'll do the same. I mean, if I don't wake up on time on Saturday, I'll go do another plein air. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you liked me also. That's a good thing. Yeah, I really like all of you. Wish we could actually paint in real life somewhere. If one day I get to go on a world tour and do painting, I don't know, painting demos like this, or when I go on a world tour. Yeah, I would love to go on tour painting these and have them auctioned off during the event. That'd be kind of cool. Be kind of cool. Though I must not lie, I do like the comfort of the comfort of not having to commute anywhere. Can't lie. That's actually kind of nice. This has to be the most relaxing of all of them. I think I'm finally getting into a kind of a rhythm with these. Not so. Yesterday was a little stressful with the different start. I kind of, I prefer this type of start and this process. I prefer it. Oops, I just backed up into the camera. Hopefully I didn't change anything. Yeah, I was thinking of maybe making some tutorials out of these. I just have to download the footage and voice it over. Do some shorts with them. I was supposed to do a short of was it the Tuesday one, I think? I can still download the footage and do that. Alright, how about we finish this one before Lucy calls? I want to go ahead and sign it. I think I've said all I needed to say with this one. I'm happy with it. I think this is my favorite one now out of all of them, which is good. The newest one should always be the better one. Not always the case, but I think it worked out this time. Perhaps it did. So I'm just mixing up some black and alizarin, spike lavender. Gonna drop a signature. Alrighty, there we go. Portrait sketch in oil colors 11 is complete. Remember, if you want to paint along with this, I've posted for free. I have posted it on my Patreon, also with a link to this video, so it's a little bit easier to click on it and then click on the video, and you know, the reference image will be there for you, is all I'm saying. And you don't have to pay anything for the online classes unless you actually want to take the online classes, but that's totally up to you. So once again, thank you so much, everybody. It's really, really fun to be able to do these portrait sketches here. Alrighty then, this is me signing out. Thank you so much for joining, everyone, and I shall see you next time.